Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Greetings and salutations, how's everybody doing? So, we're about to talking about Star Trek The Next Generation with 2 episodes, Conundrum and Power Play. Let's look at the episode Conundrum first. And what actually happened in this episode? Well, in this episode, the entire crew's complete and total memory loss after an unknown alien ship scans the Enterprise. And basically, they don't remember who they are, but somehow they think, like one of the crew members in this case, Kieran McDuff, he's basically the executive officer, is basically, say, we need to attack the Lycians, and, because we're in the war with them. I gotta say, this episode was pretty good in the fact that we get some, almost fish out of water, in the fact that the characters don't really know, know who they are, so there's a bit of, good little bit of, character.
Commanding Officer Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Executive Officer Commander Kieran McDuff. Second Officer, Commander William Riker. Operations Officer, Lieutenant Commander Data. Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Beverly Crusher. Ship's Counselor, Lieutenant Commander Deanna Troi.
Development in the fact, hey, a whole new slate, in a way. I mean, they eventually get their memories back at the end of the episode, but I think the best actor of this episode was Eric Anderson, who plays Kieran McDuff, and that he's not being, goofy over the top, but he is just over the top in the fact that, he is doing great.
The rest of our forces are depending on us.
How can our mortal enemy be over 100 years behind us in weapons technology?
Their battleships may be on their way right now. We must attack!
I do not fire on defenseless people. Mr. Worf, open a channel to the Lycians.
Delay that order! There's something wrong with the captain. I'm taking command of this vessel. Fire all weapons!
Whether it is yelling at Picard and saying, no, we must do this, Picard, we must do this. And, yeah, honestly, this episode is kind of entertaining. What with, the moments of, Picard and, Ro Lorne, where they say, who knows, we may have been married, and, it's almost oh! Riker is just, he doesn't remember who he is, he doesn't remember, who, Ensign Ro is, and all that. It's, it gets kind of steamy, I suppose, and, eventually, all the crew eventually gets their memories back, before, McDuff decides to, eventually they get their memory back, but it's after, they all go, say, we will not attack, we will not attack. And, yeah, I kind of liked it. I thought this episode was honestly pretty good. Let's look at episode Power Play. what actually happened in this episode? Well, in this episode, alien entities take over the minds of Data, Troi, and Miles O'Brien.
They've broken through a security field, deck 10, section 2.
Security to 10 forward.
Mama's here.
I gotta say this episode was pretty good. What makes this episode a lot different than usual episodes is in the fact that Data, Troi, and O'Brien get to have a bit more fun in the fact that they get to show a bit darker sides to their character, even though they are in a way, their minds are being controlled by alien entities. They do a great job, honestly, and it works. I do think, yeah, like, say, when the alien entity that is controlling O'Brien is, when they are all going into the, below deck to try to, what's the word, hold, everyone on the ship hostage, so that they can have, like, a sense of power, and then the way they can say, hey, Picard, we now have, here is our like, cards of deck, show us yours.
Miles!
I mean, then again, we've had episodes where we've had lore. We've had moments when Brent Spiner has moments of, like, being dark from when we've had episodes of lore. And, yeah. I do have to say that whenever, like, say, Troi is, like, having, like, leading the charge and, like, is being the one in charge, it's really okay. I could see if, like, Troi went to the academy and decided to have her own ship. That could totally work, honestly. Like, if she wanted to have her own ship, lead her own crew, I could see that actually working well. Like having an episode where she is having an episode where she is head of Enterprise, where she is having to make all the tough decisions.
Can you dig it?
The moment where I thought, okay, this is honestly really good, was when the aliens say, hey, we are not actual old crew members of the SS Essex, I believe they said. We are actually prisoners who have been electrically ghosts that are down on the prison penal system.
Let them go or you will all die!
The threats are meaningless now.
We are still in control of these 3 bodies. We will not let them go.
And are you prepared to sacrifice the lives of these others? They'll all die when the cargo bay hatch is blown.
You will die too, Picard.
I would die to save the life of my child.
To die defending one ship is the hope of every Klingon.
So, we're gonna let all our buddies out and you're gonna take us to another planet. How about that? So, I mean, honestly, so I kind of thought this episode was pretty good. The acting for it was really good. It was great seeing some characters have a more, darker elements and a script where they were getting the opportunity to flex the acting muscles to be a bit different and, have a more of a... I mean, it's fairly interesting to have an episode where, like, say, some main characters be the antagonist of an episode. And, yeah, I think it does it pretty well. I'll see you next time.